give you a small tour of the space because nobody else is here right now. It is super messy right now because we just had an exhibition in this space and we haven't really cleaned up yet. And this is like my space right now. It's also very, very messy. This is like one room that 4 of us are staying in. And then here there are 2 people usually, and also one on this wall, but they also sit over there. And here there are 3 people, just as the room in there. 1, 2, 3. And then the one in the middle also has like a lot of other space. Today I really just want to work on my stuff because I have to be done with it soon. I like this thing, you know. I seriously have to finish it because it's taking so long, but I haven't really been here this week. To share some of the books I read this summer because I'm kind of proud of myself. I don't really read that much, but I really want to read more, and I feel like this summer I actually read a decent amount of books, so both like audiobooks and also physical books. And I've been sketching a bit, actually doing watercolors, because I felt that really today I have actually been kind of sad. It did really help starting to paint. I've really been feeling that like imposter syndrome and like anxiety about applying and making portfolio. So I almost didn't make any art today, but I was like, you're gonna feel better if you do something, and it did. So I actually read this book first. A book that I already have like bought physically, and I bought it almost like 2.5 years ago, like 1.5 years ago in Berlin when I was there with a school. And it's this yeah, I don't really know what to say about this since I read it before. I don't remember. I think I might have been reading it while the allegations came out. So I don't even really know if I want to review this book because, yeah, it's just really icky. I really liked the movie as a kid, and I guess I wanted to say something about like how the books and the movie, the books in the movie have very different endings. And when I was reading it, I thought that I kind of liked both of them. They each have their own qualities, but yeah, I was kind of confused why everybody liked it so much, like was speaking so highly of it. Like I think it's a good book. I've always like heard how he made stuff for queer community, you know, with Good Omens and stuff. So I was kind of surprised by how he talked about the women in this book. But looking back, obviously it's no surprise. So I bought it at an antiquariat. What is that in English? So it was also secondhand book. Yeah. I just really love like older fantasy. I also love newer fantasy, but I wanted to read a bit more older fantasy. So I guess that's a natural segue into the next books, because I have nothing more to say about this book. I did read some new fantasy. It's a very modern fantasy book, very like I think very feministic, by a Norwegian author. I read it in Danish, obviously, or I heard it in Danish because it was actually an audiobook, and I liked it. Yeah, I did really like it. So it's called Jernulven, which is like the Iron Wolf. I also read the second one, Sølvstruben, the silver, like, what is this called? Yeah, I did really like them. I don't know if it's a book I'm gonna come back to, just because I think it was such a fun first read, because it's really like, there's so many aspects. There's some aspects to the movie. You don't really know how they connect. And then just as the book goes on, you kind of figure out how they all connect, and I really liked that. I really like reading those kinds of books. Like, not really like those kind of books, but more like a lot of aspects to the world building and the history of the book and just the characters, so that the plot kind of comes together. I don't know how else to explain it, but I really like that. And you really got this with this book, like you really had to think. And I think that's probably also what a good book is, like show don't tell. So you kind of got to figure out the book. But oh, it does actually say it's a fantasy mystery. So I guess it is kind of a mystery book. It has Nordic roots, so it's also with a lot of Nordic mythology, which I really liked. I love Nordic mythology, you know. So, and I've kind of been on the look for a fantasy book with Nordic mythology, and I read some at some point but it wasn't good. I didn't like it. So, but this was really good. But the third book hasn't come out yet, so it did kind of leave on a cliffhanger. It is also a very horny book. I don't really care that much about that, like if it isn't there, if it is. And yeah, I think just overall really interesting world building, which I really liked. And I'm currently also reading her or hearing her audiobook, which is, I think it's her debut book. I'm actually not sure, but Odin's Barn, Odin's Child, and it's kind of set in the same world, but not really. It's more like Norse mythology, where you have, you know, all of the worlds, like Elfheim. I don't remember the names, not even in Danish right now, of the worlds. I hope you get what I mean by this. So I actually like this book better, Odin's Child, better than the other books. I did like the others, but I don't know, this one, I really like it. It's like very harsh world building, what is it called? But you know, high fantasy. But yeah, I really like it. I just kind of listen to it when I'm at work, actually, which is every third weekend, so I'm not really reading it that quickly. But the Iron Wolf I read while I was in the summer house. If any of you guys have watched that video with my dad and my sisters. Yeah, if you like Norse mythology and like fantasy, definitely read those books. She is really good at writing. I don't know if they're translated. I actually can't really find it on Google, so maybe it's not translated actually. Oh yeah, it is. It is. And then I read this, which I talked about in some other videos. I really like this. Like, it's kind of hard to understand, to be honest, but I don't know, I think I kind of understood like the overall points, you know, and I definitely want to read this again and come back to it, and like maybe it is a book you have to read a bit of times if you're not really academically like trained. Yeah, I definitely liked it. There's some there's some really interesting aspects of it. Yeah, just about data in general also is really interesting, not just about climate change and just nature and how we look at things from a Western perspective, kind of. About anthropocentrism, like about that, how the small things how we think and what we do in the small ways actually kind of has a big effect on how we think as a whole, and in connection to that, how the earth is dying, you know. And I've always been very interested that kind of stuff, so I wanted to read something about it, and this is about a very philosophical book, so it's not like science, or it is science-based, but it's not like a lot of science about like molecules and stuff like that. So it's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it was just very interesting, I think, and, you know, it expands my vocabulary about this, like, all of this. It makes it easier. It helps you to talk about it also to others and communicate about that kind of stuff. This kind of heavy topic. It's good to have some nuance on the subject. So that's also why I'm reading this right now, and some of you might know this. It is very well liked, and I totally see why this far into the book. Comparing these two, I think this is way easier to read. This has a lot of like philosophers just name dropping, kind of Kant, Marx, and all that kind of stuff, and I kind of know about these things, right? Like some of them, I guess, but sometimes it got lost on me. But this is it's also very poetic, you know. So also, if you have any book recommendations in like this kind of genre that you like please suggest some of them to me, because I'm really liking reading these kind of books. Like, usually I don't read like fagbøger at all. Never. And in school I hated it. I know she also has other books that I'll really like to read them as well. I just wanted to have something to add to the books I've read. I'm visiting my dad, and he had borrowed this book at the library, and I read it. It's a very slim, short, quick book. I really liked it, so I thought it was really interesting. And I really like it. It's like kind of poetry. Also, in a weird way, it's very scientific. I guess it kind of inspires me. And it's not very often that like short text like this, like kind of poetry really inspires me. It's also a very like funny book. Very short, funny book. It's very like useless information, but at the same time, it's written in this kind of data formatting in some way. I'll try and read some translated. List over animals organized after until rising order. 1 animal, 2 animal, 3 animal. This nonsense. Animals with healthy food in their name, organized after word length, rising order. But I'll try and just translate them as they are, because kålorm is like directly translates to lettuce worm, which is an actual animal in Danish. Number 2 is seaweed eel, fish heron, a bean fly, grain biter, nut warrior, warrior, kind of, lemon butterfly. 5 fine animals organized after how much you want to be surprised by waking up and finding them in your bed, plus word length falling order. 1 cat, 2 dog, 3 like fladlus is like crabs, I think, 4 snake, and 5 crocodile. I really like this book. This is kind of a book I want to have myself. Maybe I'll buy it at some point.